to my live stream. Hopefully those notifications will go out in just a second here and we'll have a few more people join in. Hello, D May, Jen, and Jess. I have two cousins, one named Jenny and one named Jessie in the same family, so reminds me of them. And a few more people are responding to that notification. So if you would just take a minute to introduce yourself, I would love to know your first name, Mr. Poopy Pants, and Brittany, and a few others. I am also going to tag a few friends that I saw checking out the show or that were in the show last time. Tara was teaching how to do whatnot. So let me see. Grab a few of these. Hello, sweet red panda. How are you this morning? Looks like Ditsyco I need to do here. And so this is my first tip of the day. If you are in your live and you see some friends that are checking it out, I'm pretty good too. I'm actually pretty good. I'm excited about the week ahead. Oops, I forgot to put MN on my friend Too Cute. So let me just finish a couple more tags. Tagging is a great way to bring a few people to the party, and it's always important to keep a list because sometimes you just can't remember, right? Hi, Callie Style and Stormy. Welcome in, everyone. I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. If you want to introduce yourself, this is a good way to do it. I like to say that I am a reseller and shows daily. Hi, Krista. Welcome in, guys. Please feel free to type reseller or seller in the chat. And that way we can get to know one another. I'll choose a couple to highlight and make sure that I'm following. Hello, yay, good morning, Ashley. So class is in session. There we go, Jana. I know I'm following you, but I don't know that I've bookmarked your upcoming shows. So let me go ahead and click view profile. Excuse me. And oh yeah, you've got some great shows coming up. I like that you changed your profile pic to that carousel picture. That is super cute. And get it off my racks. Very creative. Made for more raid train? Interesting. That one I hadn't seen yet. 90 sellers. All right. So you've got a bunch of bookmarks from me and you are on your way. Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, everybody. Ooh, beauty shows coming up. And I haven't been in a beauty show in a while. So I'm going to click on Ada and click follow back. And good job. You've got all these thumbnails ready to go. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bookmarks from me. 6 shows, 6 bookmarks. Perfect. Looks good. And then let me choose. Um, Skims are so popular. So that one I have bookmarked. And let me quick reply to my husband who is taking my daughter to the hairdresser. And unfortunately, we timed it right at the same time that hairdresser. Does anybody still say hairdresser? I am not that old. Stylist. Okay, anyway, Sally Cell. Nerdy Girl, comics and graphic novels, curated clothing, practical magic, raid train, and other and whatnot. Halloween garage sale. I love that you're selling in so many different categories. You're up to 702 followers and you should probably reach 1,000 sooner than later with popping into different categories. All right, guys, I'll do that throughout the show. I'll remind everybody to do it again halfway through the show, and then also bookmark my Monday chats. We also try to do, follow. I don't have a name for it, like follow Wednesdays or this on Tuesdays or whatever, but I'm reseller friendly is what I'm meaning to say. And yes, my friend Sweet Red Panda sells Asian snacks, and I saw on TikTok that you've been doing handmade plushies. So awesome. Everybody grab those names, click profile and bookmarks. Awesome. Excuse me, I've got my coffee and I need to get the frog out of my throat. Funny story, when I was A teacher. I didn't drink coffee. I learned to drink coffee later in life. So I started teaching straight out of college. My degree's in biology. And so I was a science teacher for many years. Then, after I had my first daughter 18 years ago, she's almost 18. uh, I stopped teaching and stayed home with her for a little while, but was itching to get back to work somehow. I enjoy the routine of working. And so I started working retail, which I had done as a teacher over the summers and in the evenings, and really fell in love with retail while I was teaching. So I was glad to get back into it. Then I had a boutique of my own that I opened up and had for a little over 10 years, closed it up a couple years ago, and moved. Our family had moved to California, so we moved all the inventory here, leading me to Whatnot. And so now I do live selling on Whatnot, mostly baby and kids clothes from my closed up beach boutique, but I also sell snacks because I live here in Los Angeles. I have access to so many wonderful warehouses and neighborhoods and ethnic grocery stores that sell these incredible snacks. And so it's fun for me to go and buy some and then offer them up to my customers. And then I love collecting children's books for my kids to read. I have three girls and a boy, but my three girls are now teenagers. So they're reading books from the adult sections, no longer the kids section. So I am also selling books, and a family of six, we got a lot of stuff. So I'll probably pop up in garage sales and some of the other categories as well. Oh, and Amazon, I did that for a little while before Whatnot. So I have some Amazon returns that are coming back to me. I'm popping all over the place, but I think that's an important lesson that's not necessarily on my list of lessons today. And Sally underscore sell reminded me that that's an important thing to tell everyone, that don't be just focused on your one category. So my friend, where I just bookmarked all of your beauty shows, Ada, um, you will be successful in beauty because you've already got it set up, but you can bring more buyers to your beauty shows by sometimes popping up in one of the other categories. So look around your house and see, even if you just have 25 beauty books, or anything along those lines, you might want to pop up in one of the other categories to promote your beauty shows. We've got to start to think outside the box a little bit, because the number one question that people have is, how do I get more people in my shows? So today's lesson and all the lessons that I give are with that in mind. How do you get more people in? How do you get more sales? And there's no easy answer. It is work. I myself had some $0 shows last week, and that was new for me. It's been a long time since I had a $0 show, but I took time off. I kind of lost my audience, so I've got to work at it again too. It's not easy for anybody. Thank you for the hearts on the screen. I appreciate it so much. Let me catch up on the comments. I do have my desktop here, so you'll see the side of my head quite a bit. I haven't quite figured out. I'm not a professional streamer, guys. I don't have a Twitch setup or one of those big boom mics or anything like that. I'm just a middle aged gal that loves teaching and loves selling kids' clothes. And I'm combining those two loves here on Whatnot. Yes, there you go, Ada. Exactly. And even if you don't have any sales in your fashion show, anybody that drops in and looks at your fashion, if you have what I'm going to talk about today, a signpost that says bookmark my beauty show on Wednesday, you will get a few bookmarks from that just by introducing yourself to a wider audience. Okay, so today my show in the auction and in the buy it now looks a little cluttered, but it's purposeful because there's a lot of things that I want to talk to you guys about. And if I miss your question, I'll try and scroll back and answer questions as we go, but feel free to ask it a couple times. Use emojis to catch my attention because everything starts to blend in after a while. So, one of the first things that I'm going to do is I'm going to pin this little thing that says Teach the Teacher. Part of why I do this is because I learn from you guys. And if there's anything that you've learned this week that is new to you, either you saw it new on the Whatnot platform, because they're always making changes and they don't necessarily tell us about them. Sometimes you just open up the app and you're like, wow, that's new. So if you've learned anything just by opening the app and playing around with it, or if you saw somebody try a new technique, share it with us now. Teach me, and then I'll get into the meat of it a little bit. Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome in. Just catching up on some of my comments. and seeing if anybody has any advice for me. If not, we will jump right into the first lesson. Adding tags to your shows helps. Thank you for that comment, Sally Cell. I haven't. I'm going to make a note of that because that is one of the things that I talked about when building a listing. But I want us to brainstorm maybe in the next one. Let's brainstorm some more tags. Now, here's the little bit of advice I will give you. If you're not already on Discord, Discord is an app that allows you to chat back and forth with like minded folks. Whatnot has a Discord channel, and there are different hashtags that you can follow. And one of them is tag suggestions. So I pop in there all the time and I'm like, well, we could use surfer and skater in the clothing, as a tag because streetwear and clothing, I'm always looking for things that have like a surfer skater vibe. My friend Sweet Red Panda said, hey, can we take cracker off of the muted words list because we're over here in snacks selling crackers. We're not using it as a racial slur. So there is a discussion happening on Discord about which words should be muted, which words should be tags that we can use, and there are not enough of us contributing to that conversation. So if you are not a part of the Whatnot Discord, please email sellersupport@whatnot.com and ask, can I please have a link to the Discord? I think it is a link that changes and I can't send it to you. I've tried. And I don't understand the app as well as I'd like to, but I do know that that is the fastest and easiest way to get questions answered on Whatnot. And a quick disclosure, I don't work for Whatnot yet. Maybe someday I will. So if you have any real technical questions or problems to solve, seller support at whatnot.com is the best place to do that. Oh, exactly. Yes, I see that. Dickies is one of those popular streetwear brands, and yeah, we've got to tell them, hey, this is something that we are using regularly. Please remove it from the muted words list. And so there's not a hashtag for muted words. There are different places, but I feel like tags is a good place to do that too because it's in the same like we are using these words category. So let's see what else. Oh, my friend Too Cute is driving and she clicked on the notification. She'll jump in with us later. Jana, there is no such thing as the best category other than trading card and games, and they are having some issues of their own right now. So you got to find what works for you best. But I do suggest going back and forth sometimes between categories. If you have any maternity wear or anything else that is mom friendly, you can include that in your baby and kids shows. And sometimes you can offer women's clothes in the women's category and still have a few kids' clothes in your show as well. You're not limited to what you offer. You just have to choose a category for your thumbnail to sit in. Answering that question. Let's see if there's any other little tips. You are not middle-aged yet. I am. I just turned 49, Too Cute. So yeah, 49 is middle-aged. I hope I make it to 100, in which case I am right at the middle of my age. I'm so glad that the bell helped you. We're talking all about the bells today. So if you're not sure what Ashley means by the bell helped her dramatically, she had a very successful show. She was live for 5 hours because she was chasing that 1,000 sales mark. She hit the 1,000 sales and she didn't stop. She had a momentum going. And so she said, I'm selling it. I'm selling it all. And sometimes you have to go with the moment, and the bells do help. I do think Sweet Red Panda that they listen over there more for feedback. I also get my questions answered immediately. Sometimes it's not the answer I'm looking for, but I go back and forth with them sometimes. Oh, interesting, Sarah Marie. So that's a tip. If you use the word not, so one of the muted words is PayPal. You could try that, not PayPal, and see if that helps. But I don't know. Not boob. Oh, good. There you go. Yeah, it works. I guess it depends on the word. My life expectancy is 100 years. Don't pop my balloon, as I say to my kids. Like, that is what I'm aiming for. Why you gotta pop my balloon? You're getting muted left and right. It's funny. Only the moderators can see the muted words. Here, too cute. I'll make you a mod. And my friend Basil makes everybody mods. I think it's hilarious. Here, now you guys can see all the muted words. And you can have your own little mod conversations. Anyway, maybe adding the app before the word. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's frustrating trying to figure out what the muted word is when you've typed something and you're like, I don't understand. What did I say wrong? Using space. So one of the words that was muted that I was talking about suicide awareness because it is a topic that is very near and dear to me because I lost my brother to suicide, and we are still dealing with issues in our own family. And I practice awareness. You know, I'm an advocate for those that are suffering, or just trying to normalize mental health services. And anyway, that's a muted word. So some of it makes sense and some of it doesn't, and we just have to continue to give that feedback when it comes to muted words or tag suggestions. Is where this conversation started. So there you go, Sarah Marie. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so sell auction items. Let me go back. It's automatic on listed items in shows. The muted, or what's automatic? The bells are away a buyer. Oh, there you go. Yeah. She's talking about the bells. Okay, so one of the other things I want to point out, because we're going to talk about listings. Do you see how Teach the Teacher is at the top of my listings? I use the Apple emoji, and the emojis help move items to the top. It doesn't have to be an emoji, it can be a symbol too, like old school, the star on the keyboard or the money sign. It doesn't, or a period. It doesn't have to be an emoji, but emojis are nice. And one thing I learned this week, I never knew how to bring up the emoji keyboard on my desktop. I'm a desktop gal. My thumbs are clumsy and it takes me forever to text, but I'm a really good typist. And I had no idea that you could bring up the emoji keyboard so easily by hitting Control, Command, and Spacebar. So let me practice that, make sure I did it right. Control, Command, and Spacebar on my Mac brings up all these fun emojis. Oh, only one at a time, Tara. I can only do one at a time, so it's a little bit clumsy, but now I get to add all these fancy little emojis to my listings and my chats. That is one thing that I learned today. It's never too late to teach the teacher. So I am going to go ahead, and one thing that I want to do before I forget is to clone everything. So here's another quick tip. It's not a lesson, it's just these are tips off the top of my head as I do them. I am going to be teaching again. And so I want to take a lot of these things and drop them into my next teaching show before I start deleting them during the show. So there's 117 items in this current show. Some of them are actual listings for sale, most of them are not. And I'm going to click clone those items from my live streams list. And I just quick cloned. There are now 117 items in my next Tara Teaches Whatnot show. That fast. And the reason that I did it right now live while I'm teaching is because I'm about to delete that Teach the Teacher. So it's now gone. It's gone from the show. It's gone from the listings. And because it didn't have a picture, I couldn't easily bring that back up again once I delete it. When you're doing your listings, they have to have pictures to appear in your listings list on the Seller Hub. That may or may not be, Greek to you. So, Sweet Red Panda, did I teach you a tip? I feel so. Oh, thank you for grabbing that lip gloss. Sweet Red Panda, did I teach you something? That makes me so happy. Yay, good. Okay, see the joy on my face. If that's the only thing that I do today, just teaching somebody something new, it makes my heart happy. Yes. So, Ada, the thing that I told, and I will type it, is to pull up the emoji keyboard on desktop. And I work on a Mac, so I don't know if it works on a PC. Click Control, Command, and Spacebar. Control, Command, and Spacebar, holding all three down at the same time, will pop up the emoji keyboard that you see. Like, I use messages on desktop, so I can do iMessages back and forth between like when I'm working. I don't want to always be looking at my phone. So he and I iMessage, which is text message, back and forth between our Apple phones, and the keyboard is automatically there as a choice. When you're just typing in general, you have to type those three things together, and then it pulls it up. It's still a little clunky because you can only choose one emoji at a time. It doesn't stay there. It's up and then it goes away, but you can do cut and paste and things. And yeah, happy to. Okay, so glad that I taught that to you guys this week, because here's the next one. So this is another listing that I've created that I put in each of my shows. Usually I pin it to the bottom of my shows before those shows start. So, for example, I'm going to maybe do 2 more shows today. And let me look and see if the teacher has done the homework. So, I'm clicking on my name. I have it as a bookmark at the top of the screen. And Kiki Pants is the next show that I'm going to do at 2 o'clock. And no, right now I don't have it. So, let me see if I've cloned it over there. I haven't. I am behind. Okay, so I have some homework myself to do. I like to take this listing and put it in each one of my shows, and I try to do it a few days ahead of time so that when people are popping in to my Kiki Pants show because they've looked for Kiki Pants or they liked the thumbnail, the first thing they see at the bottom is a reminder, hey, I have more shows coming up. Go and bookmark all of those. You can pin anything you want to any of your shows at any point. So this is, think of it as a bulletin board. You can think of it as window shopping. Put something there. Now, the only picture would be an emoji. That's why I have the little bookmark emoji. And I wish, that it easily, I don't know if I wish that because it would clog up the screen. Like, you can't pin an item there that also includes a picture of the item. But if the item is self explanatory, like Lululemon belt bag black, and you're offering them at cost because somehow you scored a bunch of them, or, maybe you need a quick $45 back and you already have 2 Lululemon belt bags, that already like, people already know that image in their mind. It's pretty popular. So you could put that there and it would say buy now. So for example, if this was my women's clothing show and I just wanted to kind of catch people's attention, I could, let me see if I have one down at the bottom here. I could pin this, I can pin this item to the bottom of the show. Do you see how it says buy now? And everybody that pops into my show will be greeted with that listing until it sells, and then it will say 0 remaining. So this is a feature that I am not using enough to sell things pre-show. Instead, right now I am really just trying to educate and get people to bookmark. But I really would love for you guys to think about this area down at the bottom here as something that you can pin an item, a request, a call for comments, and you've got people popping into your shows all day long before you ever start that show. And that's another tip. It's fun to kind of watch and see. All right, so can they move the bookmark icon so that it's not on the top of the show? I know. So I can actually type it right now because I usually keep Discord open. Where do you think it should go to? You're jumping to the end of the show where we talk about some of the things. Thank you, Sally Cell. Yes, go to your show right now and pin a listing. If you have a listing in that show, just pin something. Just pin something at the bottom as a force of habit. And I have been clicking on bookmarks and opening the show too. I almost feel like maybe if the big bookmark was larger in the top corner to where if you clicked off to the side of it, it's still bookmarks, but it's too small. Something is happening to where I keep opening the shows too, and it's driving me crazy. Right next to the text. Yeah, I will type that in and see. I got to figure out which one it goes under. Bookmarks, maybe feedback general. There's one that is just general. Okay, so I will type it down. Okay. All right, so let's go back over, and I use the auction to list the different categories of clothing that I'm going to sell. I don't preload my shows. Mine is different. Mine is similar to a pallet pull where they don't, they just write pallet pulls and maybe the weights. So mine is a little bit different, but I like to use the auction side where all the listings are as little commercials, as little notifications, as little reminders, and also as an agenda of sorts. So that was the first one. Just going to pin it one more time for the people that are popping in. Take a screenshot of it. Take a quick screenshot of your screen, and that way you can remember to maybe use that or do something similar. It is a listing on the auction tab that I pin to the bottom, and I never actually run that auction. So now I'm going to delete it to remove it from my live show, and I have it saved in other shows so that I can just keep cloning it. And I always put that at the bottom of mine. You're more than welcome to use the exact same, like I don't mind being copied. Like if it helps you get bookmarks for your show, that's great. I want you to get more bookmarks. I want you to have more sales. I want you to bring more buyers to the platform, and I want those buyers to be happy with what they purchase from you, and then they might also come over to my show. I think we need to do more of that. There's a little too much of like there's too many resellers on whatnot. Not true. Every reseller is a potential buyer. Maybe you don't like that they only want it at a certain price. That's fine. Hold your price. You don't have to sell it for anything less than you're comfortable with, but don't discount resellers as buyers. These are our friends. These are our family. That's me. You want me to come to your show. You want me to buy things. Sometimes I will pay more than the price that I would need to flip it at. I have bought things that I've sold for less on Whatnot because I was looking to support new sellers. So please try not to discount resellers because we're a pretty nice bunch. All right, so somebody says I'm not the only one. Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna try and talk to Whatnot about that and see if that can be fixed, because it is a pain to open shows over and over again. That's why I do like the desktop, guys. Again, I'm a desktop gal. And so I'll go to your show, or I'll go to your profile on the desktop, and it's so much easier to go bookmark, bookmark, bookmark. And it doesn't, because you're with the mouse, and the mouse is more accurate than your pointer finger. And so it doesn't open as easily. That's a little tip, to avoid that annoyance, is if there is somebody, if you have a bestie, or if you're just looking to bookmark a bunch of shows so that you know what to watch later and get those notifications, try looking at people's profile on the desktop version. All right. All right, good. You guys are making friends. Yeah, resellers got to buy to resell. Don't you want them buying on Whatnot? Why do you want, I I am a firm believer in keeping everybody on the platform as long as possible. So if there's anybody in Whatnot that's listening, then I always hope they are, and always assume that somebody from Whatnot is listening in on your shows, because sometimes they actually are. I don't mind the Discord, and I'm glad that it's there and I make use of it. But if we had something equivalent in the Whatnot app, then I wouldn't have to change device. I wouldn't have to change app. Anytime we can keep people on the app, if you can keep a reseller on the app buying goods to resell, then it's just good for everybody. It's good for the app when we keep people there longer. All right. So, this one is another example of something that you can create and pin to the bottom to give yourself a little break to sip your coffee. Or I have one of my friends, Angel Energy Toy Shop. She does giveys, and she's got a little toilet icon next to him because she's like, she does really long streams. So she does a givey every time she needs a little potty break. And it actually says something like that: Givey, I need to go potty, so I'll be right back. And then she runs a 5-minute Givey every time she needs potty break. There are all kinds of examples out there of how you can list things that aren't necessarily for sale. And right now, Whatnot doesn't discourage it or say that we can't. So take advantage of the idea that you can use the listings to talk to your audience. So that was the I jumped ahead to lesson number 9. We're going to go back to lesson 8, but that's okay. They don't have to go in order. So I'm calling them signposts. and notes to inform your chat. So let's see, did I create a note? I'm getting better at it. So on the desktop, there is the Notes app. And I finally started creating notes that I can cut and paste into the show notes section. And so because I have shows in baby and kids, I have shows in books, I have shows in snacks, I've created 4 or 5, 6 different welcome in show notes. And now I'm cutting and pasting them into the show notes. I didn't really like show notes at first. I was like, this is just one more thing to do. But the reality is, it's there, it's not going away, it's optional. I suggest using all of the options and tools available to you. So create a little welcome note that you have cut and paste somewhere in, a Word document or files on your phone, or like I said, the stickies is another option on desktop. Sometimes I use the Notes app, the Notes application on my desktop to create a bunch of show notes, and then I cut and paste them. And so everybody take a minute to go read my show notes, and then I will catch up with the comments. Awesome. Okay. All right, there we go. So you see, I included some emojis. I used that new trick to add emojis. So introduce yourself, say your name, especially if you have an interesting reseller name like Jessica's is Cali Style Goods. People sometimes do like to know your first name. It's up to you if you're comfortable or not, but this is a good place to put your first name in the show notes. Okay, so I'm going to close the show notes and encourage you again, take some screenshots of different people's show notes so that you can start to think about, well, what do I want mine to say? What do I want mine to look like? Is theirs too long? Is theirs too short? Is theirs just right? Goldilocks style. Choose something to say, because it is an opportunity for you to introduce yourself before you go live. All right. And then let's see, create some listings for the chat to read, pin them throughout the show. So one of the other ones that I have, let's see, I put Z in front of some of them because I wanted them to drop to the bottom. So that's another little, I don't love that tip as much. I figured out how to bring them to the top by including emojis or spaces. Otherwise they're numeric, 001, whatever you put in front of it. So click that bell to be notified when I start the next level of books. Click that bell is something that Ashley mentioned in the chat at the very beginning of the show, because she used the technique yesterday and it really helped her to bring people back in. So imagine you're doing your show and you have people shouting at you in the chat, do you have 2T? Do you have 3T? Do you have any books about poems? Do you have any Halloween items? Whatever they're saying that maybe falls into the show that you're doing, but you don't have it, like you're not showing it right now and you're not going to show it for a while. If you create reminders on the side, you can tell people so you can say it. And definitely you should all throughout the show. Whenever people ask you, are you going to sell, do you have any women's extra large? You can say, oh, go over to the auction tab, type in extra large, and then click a bell next to each one of the extra large items. Here's the catch though. If they are just clicking the bell next to each of the items that you have that is bamboo, or each of the items that you have that is Halloween, or each of the items that you have that is extra large, if you're running 15-second auctions, they only have 15 seconds to reply to that notification that says now selling extra large Lululemon bell bottom pants. And I've done that a lot of times. I finally, you know what I started doing? This is a buyer's tip. I started clicking the bell for the one ahead of it if they're going in order, so that I've got time to virtually run over there and get ready to bid. Of course, you can do pre-bids and things like that, but sometimes you want to see the garment and the person says, I'm going in order, I'm not going to show them. Go ahead and click the bell. The bell is there. I don't like just telling my buyers to click the bell for items because there's too short of a window for them to reply to, or react, not reply, react to that bell and get back into my show or get ready. If they're doing, they might be listening, but the notification just kind of, if they're multitasking. So instead, what I've started to do is to create separate notifications that I run as 5-second auctions. And then if somebody has clicked the bell next to that notification where it says click that bell to be notified when I start the next level of books, then they'll come for that notification. It's a little bit hard to describe. You kind of need to see it in action. So of course I encourage you to come to some of my shows and see how I do it. Go to some of Ashley's shows. Is anybody else really encouraging their buyers to click the bell in a way that is different than just saying, "Hey guys, you can always click the bell"? Does anybody have similar little signposts or instructions? Yeah, by the time they get there, it's already sold. They usually miss it. So here, I see your note about coupon code, Sally, and I have a tip that I'll share at the end. I'm going to make a note. Coupon codes. So the other thing that I started to do, so here's another one. I've done it a few different I'm still kind of playing with it and changing. I'm open to suggestions. So here's another one. A lot of people only want my dollar starts. That's fine. I always try to end my shows with dollar starts. So if I'm doing a 2-hour show, they're not necessarily going to sit through the whole show waiting for that dollar start. Instead, what I might say is, click the bell to be notified. And if I'm running $100 starts, and I have quantity 100, then they might miss the first one or the second one. But by the time they pop into the show, I'm still on number 3 of 100. So if you have multi quantity and they're clicking the bell for a multi quantity listing, like when I sell all of my Halloween junk, when I sell all of my play condition bamboo rompers. If you can group them together with a quantity, then when they click the notification, it comes. And that's what Ashley did yesterday. She was doing dollar starts, but instead of just saying click the bell for dollar starts, she did it by size. And so she put 100, and she didn't have 100 2T things, and she didn't have 100 3T things, but instead it let her go back and forth. And so she would sell her 3T things, anybody that wanted them, then she'd move on to 6 or what the next request was. And somebody would pop in and they'd say, "Do you have any 3T?" And she had just done it. She wasn't going to say, "No, I'm done with 3T." She said, "Click the bell. And when I start selling 3T again, you'll get notified." So again, when she starts selling 3T again, that person will get the notification. They might miss the first item if somebody else in the room bids on it, or she might have to put it at the bottom of the pile, sell through the pile, and then show the first item again. But using that click to bell feature is a way of bringing people back into your show. It's almost like, as a shop owner, they offered me like text message applications where you can send a text message to people. Um, and we don't really make use of that. I end up unsubscribing from anybody that wants to send me texts to sell me stuff. But this is something that people request on their own. They click the bell. That means they want to come back to your show. They just don't have the time to sit through everything and wait. So click that bell, and you notice how I use the emoji showing people where it is. Feel free to screenshot it. Click that bell to be notified when I start selling sudden death, pre-loved and thrifted. And then I did put don't bid. I've had a couple people actually bid on these, and then I don't know, I send them a little something, a bookmark or whatever. So those are examples of sign posts that I've done that all say click that bell. Here's another example of a signpost that I've done when I started getting new merchandise. So I really shouldn't be investing in new merchandise because I have so much old merchandise that I'm trying to work my way through. But if you are a seller or a reseller and you have new merchandise, something that your buyers that have been with you in 5, 6, 7, 10 shows need to know about, you can create something like this that I'm calling signposts. It's a listing. It says start auction, but it's not an actual auction. And you notice how down here I put $1,000, or people put, $675 or something that indicates like, no, we're not buying this. This is just a reminder that I've put something in the bin. This is a new pop-up brand, the Wishing Elephant. It's new to my store. Or you can put reseller haul or whatever you want to put to entice your buyers to say, hey, I've got new stuff. This is a little bulletin board commercial signpost of sorts. And so this is another example. And the reason I have a Z there, I don't usually have a Z there. Usually, I'm going to quick edit it. Usually I just have an emoji because the emoji puts it at the top of my listings and I want it to be one of the first things that people see. For this Tara Teaches show, I didn't want you to get too distracted by all of my different signposts, so I put Z's to drop them down to the bottom. So using A's to bring things to the top, Z's to bring things to the bottom, 001. You can toggle and play with those things. Emojis floats things to the top, and spaces, 1 space, 2 spaces, 3 space. If you put 3 spaces, that will bring that listing all the way to the tippy top. Just different ways, since we can't pin listings in the auction tab as easily. I hope that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to delete that one, and then I'm going to scroll and see if there's any. Here's the other one. I'll pin this one more time. I don't actually have a buyer's appreciation giveaway, but this is one that I would run for. So here's how it works. Let's say people clicked that bell. I'm doing my big snack show. People have bought their $10 worth of snacks. They're not buying anymore, but I have a nice prize at the end of the show and I want them to come back. I will say, hey guys, don't forget, click the bell under the buyer's notification giveaway. And I will remind you guys if I don't have time to tag to come back. And then I quick start the auction and watch. I'm going to run this auction for just 5 seconds. And when you do it for just 5 seconds, it sends the notification out to anybody that has clicked that bell. And then it also, 5 seconds means like they're hopefully not going to bid on it. But now I would then click on my store and actually run the 5-minute buyer's appreciation giveaway. And it's a way of thanking your buyers, saying, hey, I'll send a notification out so that you don't have to sit and wait. It'd be nice if when they bought something, they automatically were entered into the buyer's appreciation giveaway. I don't know if that can be done, but I don't know. Anyway, so that's just another example of a signpost. I hope you're taking screenshots of mine, and please take screenshots of other people's. And if you've created some, feel free to tag me in your shows because I'd love to see your ideas too. I have a dozen screenshots of other people's shows and their signposts. I think it was the Sutton family that actually taught me. I'm pretty sure the click the bell. I was like, oh my gosh, that's great. So I used their version of it and kind of tailored it to my own. All right, just making sure. Hello, welcome in. And all right, did anybody see any other fun new features? So the click the bell is not a new feature, but it's one that people are starting to use more often. The emoji keyboard is not a new feature on Whatnot, but it is something new to me. So I shared that already. A couple of the things that I've noticed that have been added to Whatnot in the, I don't know, last 6 weeks, let's say, is the video receipts. Did you know that there's video receipts? Hey, buddy, what's up? Do you have a marshmallow? My little guy, my 7-year-old. Oh, not quite 7. That's
6-year-old.
6-year-old. That's a healthy snack. Jumbo marshmallow that we were supposed to use for s'mores. Good morning.
Yeah, that's the best healthy snack.
That is. Okay, you can sit on my lap for a second and you can look at the comments and things, but Mama wants to teach people about video receipts. Let me see where it is. Somebody also lost a tooth this week. So we have lost 2 teeth this summer. If you go to your dashboard, do you guys know what I mean when I say video receipts? Yep, 2 teeth. Okay, so Rusty, I'm going to, it's so on the desktop version, you have to click on your dashboard. Then you go, so once you've made some sales, then under your shows, when you click on which shipments that you have pending, You also have to click the down area, the down arrow to be able to view orders for this shipment. And then, so I am going to see if I can share
So it's
my screen. Okay. So, all right. Hey, you can watch, but don't put your face in front, okay? Because right now I need them to see this. Yep, watch. I'm going to show them. See? Now they can see my screen. All right, so this is something that a person bought, and hopefully, yeah, their buyer information thankfully is off to the side. And so this is the down arrow. So Fresh Kicks purchased something. I click the down arrow to see what they purchased in a little bit more detail. And then all the way over here, right here where my arrow is, it says video receipt. And that one didn't work, of course. So let me see if I can go back to another one. Give me just a second. Okay, so this one is an older show from last week that's already shipping, and I'm clicking the down arrow, and then right here where it says video receipt. Okay, I'll see you after the show, okay, buddy?
Also, can I ask you something?
Yeah, just a second. Let me click. Do you see how the video popped up? Whisper in my ear. That's an actual video receipt, so it's under your dashboard. Yeah. There you go. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, so you lost audio when I started sharing. Did anybody else lose audio? Heartfinger? I don't know. Huh. Can you guys hear me when I started sharing? But yes, video receipts are there. So this is super helpful if you sell things and you don't have them all numbered, or the sticker falls off, or you use categories like pallet pulls. The video receipt stops at that exact point in the show when you sold that item. Super, super helpful. So that is a newer feature. It's under the dashboard, shipments, arrow down, description of everything that they bought. Okay, good. Sorry, but yeah, so I'm not sure. Heartfinger, maybe just click your volume up. Something might have happened. Okay, let me go back then over here, see if there's any other questions. So the dashboard is, so I have it as a link. If you go to your, it's a choice on the top right of Whatnot. So you go on to the desktop version. You cannot find this information on the app version. So you have to have a computer that is either a desktop or a laptop that you use to create your shipment labels. They're created for you, but to access them. So I go to my Terra eCasas page. I click on my little person profile pic. It's a profile emoji in the top right corner, and then scroll down to Seller Hub My Shipments. It used to be called Dashboard, so that's why my link is called Dashboard still. And now they call it Seller Hub. And once you get to your Seller Hub on the left, so it's not easy for me to walk through all of those things, but I can try and show you a couple. Nope. Show you one more time. Start sharing, and let me go to this one. So here is my page, and I'm going to show you where the arrow would go. It's off screen. Up on the top right there is where you would click Seller Hub My Shipments or Seller Hub My Listings, and it gets you there. So this is now my Seller Hub. You can see that it's showing the current one, and Too Cute Boutique bought some things. And so then if I click the down arrow, it will show me what she bought. Thank you for buying me a coffee, Ashley. I missed that. I appreciate it. And then there's a video receipt. She bought these things out of the Buy It Now. Well, so I'm curious. I guess it'll just show me talking at the point at which she bought. Yeah. It says not available. That's why was not available. There won't be a video available if they buy it from the buy it now because they're not buying an auction item. We learned something. We learned something. So going back to fun new features, video receipts, and then there's also a feature where you can duplicate solds. Do you guys know how to duplicate something that is sold? Let's say you restock. One of the things that I like to sell is Mexican candy, and the slaps are extremely popular. The first time that I sold them, I didn't have a picture next to each one. It just said green apple slaps, and I showed it and I sold it. And I didn't want to recreate that listing over and over and over again. So let me walk you through how to do that. All right, I'm going to start sharing my screen again. And this time we're going to go to listings. And unfortunately, because the live stream instead of landscape view, you might not be able to see all of it, but I will keep this live available on my YouTube page so you can go back and rewatch any of the Tara teaches. Okay, so let me choose the tab that is Whatnot Seller. Give you a little behind the scenes tour here. So these are many of my listings, and you can see for my listings, it'll say right now I'm on the active ones. Most of these are on the buy it now. I can click on sold, and then I'm looking to see. So now you see all of my sold listings. And let's say, so for example, I think that was the last of my Unicorn Snot lip glosses that Ashley just bought. So let's say I restock. Well, it's not under the active or inactive listings anymore. So instead, the only way that you can restock that I have found is you have to click on this listing. It pops up over on the right, which you can barely see. And then on the bottom left under options, there's a choice where you can duplicate the listing, which is the same as like making a copy of. I wish that it showed it better. It doesn't. But if you rewatch this video and listen to what I'm saying, then you should be able to find it. So duplicating solds has been huge to me. When I restock or when I find more in storage than I realized I had, and I've already sold out. So I wanted to highlight that as a new feature. Cloning is not the same. So cloning doesn't clone your solds. Cloning clones any of your active listings, or even perhaps inactive listings if they're in a previous show. So you can clone listings from either a current show or a previous show, and they, will take all of that information and move them over. Once you've sold something, it moves into the sold column, and then it's removed from your active and inactive listings unless it's a multi-quantity item. So if you've sold the last one, then it's stuck over and sold, and the only way to get that information back is to either retype it all, which some people do, or there is an option under options where you can duplicate a sold and then it brings it back. I found it to be very helpful. I do a lot of cloning. The other thing about the Seller Hub, when we were talking about listings, nothing will appear in that Seller Hub under sold or under active or inactive if it doesn't have a picture. So this right here is a listing, fun new features. Let's say I was selling these for $56,000. It's the most incredible palette of most incredible features that you've ever seen. And I don't sell it. And then I go to my Seller Hub and I'm adding listings to my new show. You can add listings either by typing them in, by cloning them from a previous or current show, or by creating listings in the Seller Hub. There's more than one way to add listings to a show. One thing that you can't do is take any of these listings that don't have photographs. They won't appear in your Seller Hub at all. So this is not under my active listings right now, even though it actually is an active listing. It's live in a show. The Seller Hub doesn't work that way. So one of the things that I have started to do is I just use a little Whatnot emoji. I'm trying to see. Here we go. So right now, if I pin it, okay, you guys won't be able to see the emoji. It does have, this is another signpost. Browse that bin. I forgot I had some over in the bin that we could look at. I'm going to take it away for a minute. Well, actually, you can still look at it. So go, I'm asking you to please click on the storefront. It's important. Click on the storefront, go up to where it says buy it now, and then type in the word browse. When you look at that listing, you will see that it has a little picture that is the Whatnot logo. I started using the Whatnot logo. I noticed yesterday Ashley used just a little script that hers said baby when she was selling baby items. It said kids when she was selling kids items. You can use your profile pic, you can use a logo, you can use a collage, use whatever you want. You can use a red square. But the action of uploading a photograph, ideally it's a photograph of what you're selling, but sometimes you just need something quick. And I'm a desktop gal. I'm not always photographing things, and I just like to drag and drop a logo. This will make it a listing that is available in my Sellers Hub that I can activate and deactivate, list and relist, and move around more freely on the desktop version. So include a picture, a good picture whenever you can, or a logo if you feel like you want to bring that listing back. You absolutely can, Heartfinger. So right now, I have these milk caramels in. So let me see if it's so easy for me to do it on the desktop, but I'm going to talk you through how to do it on a phone because most of you have it on the phone. So right now I have caramels in my bin. I don't have anything for sale in the auction. I'm going to go to those caramels. First, I'm going to pin it. I'm going to say, you guys, these caramels are the best caramels in the world. You have got to get them. I've only got like 6 left. And I did that earlier this week, and I had somebody buy the caramels. But otherwise, it actually, without even moving it, it's easier on the phone. I can just click start auction, and it's still at 5 seconds, so it's going to run. So I just started an auction. On your phone, you can start an auction on a bin item. You can pin it so that people can click the buy it now, or you can start an auction and create a little bidding war on it if you've got multiple people. I mean, in that case, they should have just bought it from the buy it now. They might end up paying more when you start that auction. On the desktop version, if you click on product auctions and then you click edit item, you can just switch back and forth. You can move it from buy it now to auction and back and forth. And I do that often. It's not, and same thing under Seller Hub. There's more than one way and more than one place where you can take listings and change them from buy it now. The only thing that you can't do is you can't take buy it now items and turn them into giveaways. You have to start the giveaway from scratch. You can use the desktop to run the show. I don't like it because it mirror images and there's a bit of a glitch. I don't think very many people use, I don't know, maybe they do. From what I've seen, very few people use the desktop version to run their show. So I have it live and open, and I can see myself in my peripheral vision. And when I turn and look here, then I see the side of my head. I do like having it open so I can type in the chat, so I can see what you see, so I can move things, in my opinion, more fluidly without reaching forward and touching my phone. But I believe the video, audio, and overall quality of your show is better if you stream from your phone. It's an app and it's designed with live streaming from your phone in mind. You can do it from your desktop. I don't suggest it. Somebody else might disagree. Exactly. So use your phone for the camera and then run and pin from the desktop. Yes, you can. Absolutely. That is kind of the ideal. That's what many of like the card sellers and everything, if you see them, they've got the phone, aimed at their cards and things, but then they've got the computer screen off to the side here. You can't see it, but you can tell that they're reading the chat because the phone is focused, down on their merchandise. So they must have something else to be able to read the chat. What do you need to start selling? So, Bailey, are you already approved? I mean, obviously, you need inventory, and depending on the category and how much inventory you have, you also have to prove that you have access to more inventory, because Whatnot is not just about selling what you have, it's about creating a small business where you continue to sell more. But ultimately, in order to sell on Whatnot, you need inventory to sell, pleasant and positive attitude, a phone, and a computer, and then a printer or access to a printer. So you need the inventory to sell, you need the pleasant and positive attitude to bring people into your shows. You need the computer to be able to look at your labels and edit your listings and things like that. And you need a printer to print the labels. Obviously, you need packaging supplies as well. And I forget what the fifth thing was that I said, but can you move unsold auction items into the bin without creating new listings? You can. So, for example, right now, I'm looking at auction, and let's say that, oh, I did this one. Okay. So, let me pin it real quick. This is another example of kind of a click the bell type reminder where I said, if you love wafer cookies, click that bell. So let's pretend that this is wafer cookies. Watch how quickly I can edit it on the desktop. Okay, wafer cookies, chocolate, get them now. Okay, so it is currently in my auction tab. So I would have to click start auction if I wanted to start selling these. I can take that. I find it easier on the desktop. I can also do this by clicking through the screens on the phone, but you get a little starry eyed when you do that because you're looking at the tabs of what you're doing instead of the chat. This allows me to do both. So I'm going to click edit item. I'm going to click buy it now tab. It does make you do the price again, but thankfully it's still off to the side there for me to remember. And now it's gone from the auction. And do you see how it's switched down at the bottom? It now says that there's one remaining. That is now in my buy it now. Takes 10 seconds or less when you get fluid with it. So yeah, if something doesn't sell in the auction, absolutely. You can say, oh, all of the size 2s, I ran through them already. I've moved them all over to the buy it now. So go grab them there if you want them. Yeah, it's a great idea. It's I find that I usually have so many people asking me questions that it's hard for me to do that, but that would be a really good feature. If you've taken the time to create all of your auction listings and you've run through all of them, instead of saying, I'll run through them again, you can say, oh, I've moved each one of them over to the bin, all of the ones that we've already looked at. Let me know if you have any questions. Can you do giveaways on a desktop? You absolutely can. So let's do a giveaway. Here we go. So I have first, you can't pin a giveaway. You used to be able to, but now you can't. So thank you, Rusty, for reminding me. I actually had a giveaway plan. So everybody enter. And let me see where I put it. Here it is. I just clicked on my desktop. I had it ready. I created it before the show. You can create it on the fly. It's always better. So one of my tips is that you have, for a good show, you have 3 giveaways planned. And I'll talk much more about giveaways in a future show. But just as a quick tip, I suggest a giveaway for followers. You do it right at the beginning. Doesn't have to be at the exact start of your show, but sometime near the start of your show because you want to gain followers. And usually when those notifications go out, you've got 5, 10, 15, 20 people that suddenly show up. Grab those, grab those followers. Do the commercial at the beginning, give something away. And, right now I only have 2 entries because there's not very many people in the room. And some of them are friends or family that are like, I don't need the candy. That's okay. The other giveaway that I suggest you have planned is a raid giveaway. I've been caught off guard when I was trying to just do a quiet, simple little show similar to this one. And suddenly I get a raid. I'm like, oh no, I've got like 30 people that just showed up. I want to capture them as followers, and I didn't have a giveaway posted and planned. And you don't want to have to do that on the fly. So you don't have to run it. If you don't get rated, then you don't have to run it. Have a followers giveaway plan, something small, light, easy to mail, doesn't cost you much. Have a raid giveaway plan, something a little bit nicer, kind of cool that people would stick around for and also follow you. And then have a buyer's appreciation giveaway planned. It does reward and thank your buyers. So 3 giveaways planned. You don't have to run any of them, but you should be prepared to and get used to the idea of a very successful show will likely have 1 to 3, or like Nicole State does. I mean, she does 20 giveaways in her shows. That's how she's built a huge audience and following. Yours doesn't let you start, edit, delete, cancel a giveaway. I just did. So I'm not quite sure what you're missing. You might want to take a screenshot. So while that is running, I can do, yeah, I can do an ad, and it's giveaway up at the top, and then you type it in and click followers only. Make sure that it doesn't say buyer's appreciation. That one you can't delete or change once you've created it. There are some differences with buyer's appreciation, but otherwise I can draw a winner here on the desktop. And there you go, heart finger. You're going to get some candy. And if anybody else wants some candy, check it out. You can also do this. Here's what I did. I also created it as a buy now. So if you have a really cool gift that you give away and you have multiples of it, you can say, oh, I'm sorry. For those of you that didn't win, if you really want one, it's in my buy it now. I just pinned it to the bottom. And I do. I have more Mexican candy. So the only choice to hit, product actions. Which category are you trying to post to? Is that a cards thing or? Baby and kids, yeah. And all right, so on the desktop version, if I want to add a giveaway, I click add on the bottom left. Then I do quick add. Then I choose giveaway on the top right, and then I just type it through. And once I type it through, I click confirm, and then it's there. And once it's confirmed, then under product actions, I click start. So I'm sorry, I'm confused. Maybe send me a screenshot or two in messaging of where it's stopping and locking for you, and I can try and take a look at it. But I'm not sure what you're seeing that I'm not seeing. I can also co-host you if you want to turn your camera around and show me what you're doing. Do you want to co-host and like just turn your camera and show me your desktop? Old school? They're already in, but only choice is yes. Maybe because you're not live. Let me go to one where I'm not live, and maybe I'll see what you're seeing. So I'm going to one, and I'm going to quick add test. And baby and kids. Test. Shipping profile small. Let me create one, followers only, and then I click confirm. Okay, so I've created it. And then product actions says edit, delete, or cancel. I think that's what you said. So Rusty, when you create it, so I just created a giveaway on desktop. And then when I click on product actions, just not given the choice to start. Right, that's because you're not live. You can't start a giveaway if you're not live. So it will pop up once you are live, then the option to start it. Yeah, it will give you the choice. So it's just because it's not a live show yet. I think that cleared it up. You can always send me a message if you have a question like that too. Sometimes it's different. When I'm looking at my show that's live, the features are different than when you're adding to a static show. Okay. I think you're good. You'll be good. And you can always tag me too. And if you tag me, or if you tag Too Cute Boutique, or even Aaliyah, Rosa has been popping in and out, Aaliyah Rose. When you have 4 or 5 people that are successful sellers, and you tag us and you say, I'm having an issue, can you help? Some of us can give you live help in the chat, or even I had somebody, I typed, just co-host me, because it was easier for me to tell them than to type it. And so she quick co-hosted me. I said, oh, the only thing you need to do is you need to switch this. And she switched it, and she was like, thank God. It was her first show and she was just having trouble. So there's a co-host feature that you can do as well, where the person splits the screen with you and they can talk you through it. Oh, thank you. I'm not wonderful. I'm just willing, I'm just willing to help people when I can. And there are lots of us that will. It's a really great community for that. Okay. All right. I think we're winding it down, guys. Let's see. So we did fun new features. Stories. So we jumped all over. I think we did everything here, let's go back to stories. And I want to talk to you about stories a little bit. So, using stories to advertise and sell. Not enough of us are doing this, including myself. I know. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, VIP. I know, and I even, you know what? It's funny because the thought even crossed my mind today. I was like, "Oh, I wonder if there's," and I was like, "No, there's just for me it's purposeful in that it gets me up and going and ready for the day cuz I'm like, "Oh, I have to teach class," and then I'm already ready to sell in my next one. B, it makes me accountable to going through all the new features and understanding them in a way that I can explain them. And yeah, I mean, I've seen that. I saw that with Amazon a lot, where people were selling lists of things, and how to get ungated and stuff. And I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of selling. Now, if you create an actual toolkit, like a physical product, a set of PDFs or a set of thumbnails or a notebook for, writing your goals and accountability, I do think you should be able to sell your knowledge in certain ways. But when it comes to teaching people, there's a yes and a no. Like, I'm a big no. I'm a big no on that. And we'll see. I mean, if they're to each their own. If they're able, there are certain things that you're not allowed to sell on whatnot too. So, I wouldn't want to risk my account and things with trust and safety. I got in trouble for selling shout outs. Was just trying to give new sellers an opportunity to be shouted out or promoted in my show, and they said nope, don't do that. And I was like, okay, fine, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I got a violation for that. Thankfully, that's the only violation other than shipping that I've had so far. So I'm trying to play by the rules because I really don't want to lose my account. And they do. I mean, you can lose your account for not following the rules. So let's follow the rules. And I'm happy to teach every Tuesday for an hour or two as long as I still have something to teach. And so far, it changes so fast that I do. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was using stories and holding myself and you accountable to creating stories. Sweet Red Panda, you don't often create stories on the Whatnot app. I think you do on TikTok, and I haven't quite figured out the exact right method. So, my friend Weaver Style, she does a good job of creating her stories somewhere else on an app and then posting them to Whatnot so that they have video contact, either video content or light, sound, and action. Mine are all very static. They don't have any music or any sound. It's just an image and then maybe some stickers or some words. But you also can sell products down at the bottom. And I haven't yet sold a product from them. I'm still having to think through, like, when I posted the caramels for sale and I was like, restocked, I forgot, oh, they have to pay the $4 shipping. So you have to keep shipping in mind when you post products down below. They've got to be willing to pay the $4 to buy it separately. But it is an opportunity to advertise your products for sale. And there you go. So, Sweet Red Panda is saying, like, I do post them the 24 hours before I go live, which is a huge tip. Whatnot says that, like, your shows kind of get promoted higher in their algorithm if you've recently posted a story, and then your story will have the little red she's live, he's live waves. But because they're 24-hour stories, that means you need to do at least 7 stories a week to try and stay in front of your audience. I don't know how many buyers are clicking on stories at the top. I know that I click on them and I'm a buyer in addition to a seller, and I follow, I don't know, a few hundred people. And I only see like 7 stories a day. So that means there are over 200 people that are not using those stories. So for right now, it's not a saturated place. Exactly. We get 30 or 40 people that see it, right, Sweet Red Panda? But look at yours right now. Um, I don't think I can't do it easily if I had, but usually when I go to look at them, I never have more than 10 or 12 stories to look at, even though I follow over 300 people. And yeah, you don't have one right now. I haven't seen one of yours in a while because you haven't gone live in a little while. Um, so this is my reminder to you, to me, because I have got to practice what I preach. I created a story yesterday and today because I said, Tara, if you're going to teach it, you've got to do it. And I don't have, since this one was about teaching, I don't have a product for sale at the bottom, but I'm going to create another story for Kiki Pants and I'm going to create a link to it and I'm going to try and see. I mean, let's celebrate when I first sell something from there. And maybe I never will, but it is free advertising that we are not taking advantage of. And until it gets saturated with all 300, like if I eventually I'll follow 1,000 people and I don't have time or energy to watch 1,000 stories, right? But right now, when it's only a dozen or less, I have the time, and that means that I can put my content in front of other people. And along with that, I have been trying, and I can't yet teach on it because I'm learning still, to add to TikTok and to add to YouTube. So this whole lesson, series of lessons in chat, is currently live on YouTube. I keep forgetting to open on my desktop a window to see whether or not I've got people dropping in. I know that I don't. It'll say 0 views. So I'm not yet reaching a YouTube audience. Rather, I am taking advantage of the idea that all of my previous shows are viewable to me and to others on YouTube and its content. And I'm I'm already creating the content on Whatnot. I might as well also have it over on YouTube. Um, we cannot simultaneously stream to TikTok, I don't think. I saw Facebook Live, Twitch, and YouTube as choices. I'm not ready to do Facebook because I don't have a separate reseller page on Facebook. And I don't need all of my friends and family watching everything on Whatnot because some of it will make 0 sense to them. Exactly. So what I just did is before this live, I created a story, a short on YouTube that was a previous TikTok story. I was like, okay, I already created this content. I might as well put it here. It applies. Then I created a story on Whatnot. Then I created the same story on Instagram. And what I'm going to try to do is figure out how I can create it once. And that's what social media people do, or people that are better at using all these different platforms. They create the content once and then they post it multiple times. So I'm not there yet to where I can teach it, but I am at least starting. That is different from when I very first started. I didn't post to anything. I don't know that stories was even a feature available when I first started in January. But since then, I have created a reseller account on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And I guess I need to do one on Facebook now too. All right, so we're going to get there. Let's push one another. So create a story today, Sweet Red Panda, just because, if nothing else, tell people, that you're currently or that, you're getting into the world of plushies, excited about eventually having your first plushie show. The content that you're already creating on TikTok, you can take some of the screenshots, or I don't know yet. Maybe I'll have Danielle co-host with me or guest speaker in a future Tara Teaches, and she can talk about how she uses social media because she's better at creating content than I am that is engaging and exciting. I don't like to overpost either. Exactly. And I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're anywhere near that. But it is a reminder to you that, I am looking at TikTok and I saw that you're creating plushies. Your viewers on Whatnot don't know that you're creating plushies yet because you haven't, so just post a little story and then they'll know too. It builds a buzz. That's my advice. Take it or leave it. Hi, Kerosene. Welcome in, guys. Okay, so we were just talking about using stories to advertise and sell. So get those stories posted. I want to see everybody posting stories. If you are a seller, Kerosene, you haven't posted stories in a while. I don't think you have. My friend, The Perfect Price, is pretty good about doing it. Basil is good about doing it. Weaver Style is good about doing it. Common Cloth is good about doing it. And Mantra, she probably does it the best. She does it the most often. Mantra 911. I can name like the 5 or 6 people that do it almost daily. So here's the thing. I have gotten stuck. I've sent emails to support because I have gotten stuck a few times too. Stick with it. So close your do the stuff that they're going to tell you to do, where you close the phone, close the app, restart the phone, all the things. Make sure you have the most recent updated version. Then start with the most simple version of a story, because I find that sometimes it kicks me out or it won't save it when I've created like the best story. It has a picture and it's got 2 or 3 stickers and it's got words, and then it says doesn't post, and I am angry at that moment. My advice is shut everything down, start it back up, and just do a profile picture. Just take a picture and try and post it as a story to see if you can actually post, and that there's something like a simple version. It could be that you're trying to post a picture that has too many pixels, or I don't really speak that language, only to say that I too have experienced that frustration. I did not find a fix to it. Instead, nevertheless, she persisted, and I just tried to create a different version of a story. Yeah, it is frustrating. So just stick with it because it does work. The feature does work. Are you on Android or I don't think Android has access to it. Thank you, sweet red panda. Kimmy, are you on Android or iPhone? Everything that I say is true for iPhone. That is why. It is a feature that is not yet available to Android. So maybe that's why I follow so many people and they're not posting the stories yet. I'm pretty sure it's not available yet. You can ask in the Discord when or if. Okay, so then it's new. Okay, so it's new then. It was not available to Android. There you go. Kerosene hasn't tried in a while, I guess. Kerosene, when was the last time you tried? Weeks or months ago, right? Oh, thank you. See, they keep dropping down here, but thank you. These are my newer ones and I'm still getting used to them. I appreciate the compliment. Exactly. So it was months ago and Android could not post to stories months ago, but you can now. So do it today. Do it today. That is what I want everybody to do. And then try, once you've successfully posted the stories, Sweet Red Panda, I know that you mostly sell scoops, but at the same time, I know that you also have some inventory. So I would encourage you to choose something, maybe a small box or a small scoop, a sample scoop, where you have the smallest possible box and it's like, a $5 scoop, so they're paying all in less than $10, and you make that a listing and something that you can then post at the bottom to your stories, and people can buy it in between shows. That would be my advice to you and to myself. I need Sometimes when I give the advice, I'm listening to myself. I'm like, oh, I can do that. That was a good idea. Exactly. It's purple on mine. So it's purple circle will show that you have a live story. When you look on your profile, it'll have a purple circle. I don't think it shows it on the desktop, only on the you can't see stories on the desktop version. Yeah, a little mini scoop, right? So I love giving you guys ideas because then I just steal them right back. I let you work out the kinks and then and then I do it. Um yeah, I wish that's another thing. Platform parity is a big thing. I wish that everything that was available on iPhone was available on Android, is available on desktop, but they're working on it. They're working on it, and someday maybe it will be. So try to post a product now. So once you've created a story, the next level to level that up is to create a story that includes a product for sale at the bottom. And to try and do that, I kind of am more of the fan of doing that 1 or 2 days a week, because you don't want your stories to just be buy, buy, buy. You want them to also to be, look at this lovely dinner I had, or look at this lovely outfit that I'm wearing, or like my new glasses, I got a compliment. I'm so happy. Just, it doesn't always have to be selling. It can a listing. It can sometimes just be a playful true story about yourself or your products. Yeah, so use it for social media purpose. Exactly. It is a social platform. So we are trying to socialize with one another. First day of school is coming up. So put those first day of school pictures in. And if you can thank another buyer and say, thank you to Tara E. Casas for his collared shirt, that's the socializing. And it doesn't have the clickability on hashtags and names and links in the way that Instagram does. But I did notice. So the other thing is, if you're looking at stories, Whatnot will post stories occasionally, and they'll get like 10,000 views, of course. But I've been screenshotting some of theirs, and I screenshot one of theirs that said bookmark that had an active link. And it might have been an Instagram story. I don't know. See, that's the thing. I can't teach about it yet because I'm still learning myself. But doing the stories is something I can do and you can do. Adding a product to those stories is something that you can do and I can do more often until we see that it's saturated. And then we'll just have to pivot and try something else. So that was lesson 8. And we did lesson 9 already. We went out of order. This is the pop quiz. We kind of did a little of this already. But since I have the Discord open, and I was just curious, if there's one thing that you could change about Whatnot, what would you change today? If you had a magic wand and you could change one thing. I'm not sure I have. So mine is a big thing. And I already said it. If I could change one thing about Whatnot, I would make it such that everything that is available on one version of Whatnot is available on all of the others. I want to be able to access the seller hub on the app. I want to be able to access stories on the desktop. It's called platform parity. And I would like all of the platforms to be the same so that so whatever device is charged and in front of me does whatever I need it to do. Printing labels from here, going live from there, and socializing here. That would be my request. See who's viewing your show. That is a thread on, or that is a comment that comes up often on Discord. The only thing we can see right now is which friends are in there. So I'm going to click mine. If you click it right now, you can see which friends. So I can see that Liquifox, one of my favorite buyers, is in here. I can see that Heartfinger Company, a new seller, is in here. I can see that Kerosene Kimmy, a friend and fellow snack seller and kid seller, is in here. I can see that Coral is in here. And I'm not sure if I've been in one of Coral's shows yet, so I'll have to make a point of it. And I can see that Bella Girl, a very good buyer of mine, as well as a seller. Now, this is new. Guys, click the red at the top. There's @ signs now, so I can @ you. That is new, I think. Did I never notice that before, or is that new? So, Coral, I just added you because you thought you were quiet in the back, but it says that you're here. You can put people on the spot. And Too Cute isn't in here anymore, which is fine. She's parenting. Yes, Android doesn't have access to seller tools. No Zoom, and then that means but you guys, can you rotate the camera? Is that a choice on the side? Yeah, it's a choice on the side still, but camera preview is another one that's really, really good for when you're changing. So and also not only that they're in there and they won't talk, but there are people that are watching your thumb. Did you know you can watch thumbnails from the opening page view? Like you don't actually have to click into a show to watch it. So even though it says that there's 10 people watching, I could have another 10 people that are listening that didn't click into the show. They just clicked unmute on my thumbnail. Hello, welcome in. We're kind of winding things down and we're just talking about some of the things that we would like to change if we could change it on Whatnot. We're just kind of winding things down. This is the end of class. Oh, you don't have that on Android. Oh, yeah. No, you can on iPhone when there's thumbnails on that first page and you're kind of scrolling through under followed hosts, or if you click into a different category, all of the baby and kid sellers. Um, you can click and you can touch and hold. It's if you click, you go into the show. If you touch and hold the thumbnail, it will start playing that thumbnail. So it defaults to playing the top left thumbnail. But if I want to watch this show without actually going in, I just want to listen. I'm being antisocial, or I'm kind of like, ooh, I want to see what they're doing, but I don't want them to know. I mean, that doesn't really, yeah, I'm sure it happens too. Push and hold. It's a feature on iPhone. I didn't know it wasn't a feature on Android. Yeah. Sometimes you just, you're like, I'm not feeling social. I don't want to say hi and I don't want to feel obligated to stick around. I just want a quick glance and see what you're doing. I want to look at your setup or whatever the case may be. All right, so we'll always come back to that. No real quiz today. I was just curious if anybody else had something they wanted to change. And then the rest of it is all review. And then remember, I say, it's not a bad thing to encourage tips, guys. If you've given good content, if you feel up for it, you can. Some people are really uncomfortable with tips. I always say, "Hey, today's stream is sponsored by tips." My friend Danielle, who does personal shopping at Disneyland, she doesn't necessarily make any money off of the personal shopping side of it because she's selling it like at cost, but she makes money off of the tips that people tip her for doing things. So that's just a reminder that sometimes it's okay to ask for tips. It's up to you. It's whatever your opinion of it is. And then the homework, we talked about it already. Here's your homework. If you haven't done it, a couple of you did it during class, which I highly encourage. Create a story after the show, post it, and then repeat it every day until next week's class. Thank you, Heart Fingers, for the tip. I appreciate it. Bonus points. If anybody wants bonus points for next week, post to Instagram and TikTok as well. And feel free. Yeah, there you go. Feel free to tag me. I am at Tara E. Casas on all socials. So you can find me wherever I might be. And then just to let you guys know, I will do this again next Tuesday. I will change up the lessons. We always talk about some of the same things like bookmarks and followers, but just trying to really highlight some of the different features like stories that we're not using and that we should. So next week, we're going to talk about giveaways and raid trains because I think those are going to start picking back. The raid trains are going to start picking back up. Thank you so much. I appreciate the tip, Nari. I think raid trains are going to start picking back up as we head back to school. I've already seen a couple like back to school raid trains, and people are getting creative. I hinted at what kinds of giveaways I think are successful. I'm curious what other people think are successful, why they do them and why they don't. So we'll have that discussion next week on Tuesday. And while we're still here, I'm going to go ahead and click on a few friends. So Nari, let me click on your profile, and you are in Baby and Kids. I'm going to click follow back. Thank you for the follow. I see that you have your first live scheduled. Congratulations. Well, oh no, I take it back. Your first live show was um last week. So that's what's appearing when I click on, or yesterday, when I click on your name. Schedule more shows. I just clicked on your profile. I would have given you 5 or 6 bookmarks. You can take that exact same thumbnail and the exact same, title, just change it to second live or first live redo and start to get those bookmarks. Even if your second live isn't going to be until October 1st, you can plan it now and start to get all those bookmarks. You want to have at least ideally 6, because that fills the page on desktop, shows planned out. You can change the times, you can change the titles, you can change the thumbnails, you can even change the inventory. You can change anything that you want, but you can't get bookmarks if you don't have shows posted. Okay, a tip for you. And thank you for the extra credit tip. I appreciate it. I saw another name that was new to me, Grisworld. I think I might be following you. I'm going to double check. Nope, I wasn't. I apologize. So I'm going to follow you back. And you have 4 shows planned, 4 different thumbnails. That's great. Cute but not innocent. The marker on the face. It caught my attention. It'll catch other people's attention as well. Cute kids. I feel like we've got it easy when it comes to thumbnails. We can put up pictures of cute kids, and people are going to click on it. So, good job getting those 4 shows planned. And I see you have one tomorrow, 3:45 a.m. Oh, good God! You must be on the East Coast. You're doing 6:45 a.m. shows. Keep in mind that for those of us that live in California, that's 3:45 a.m. That might be your sweet spot. You want to do it before kids get up and get going. I understand that. Keep in mind that those of us on the West Coast are not likely awake and watching your shows. So you might want to also try one later in the day to capture some of your West Coast followers. So definitely keep that in mind as well. All right, guys, any last minute questions, compliments, or complaints? I am here for it. Otherwise, we are right at the 1.5 hour mark, and I am going to go get ready for my second show of the day. Second show of the day is going to be Kiki Pants. I ordered some new stuff. They're mostly sibling sets. I have a few things in my stash that I'm going to try and find that are either pre-loved or thrifted new with tag, but I'm going to highlight. I have baby sister, baby brother, big sister bamboo jammy sets and footies. Yeah, they're super cute. And I decided it was worth it to maybe invest. So I am not going to hop on the bamboo train in the for the long term and trying to source it and sell it. There are other people that do it much better than I do, that are selling from their personal collections or have infants, or recently had infants. My little guy is almost 7. We did a little bit of bamboo, but I mostly did feather baby. I prefer Pima cotton personally for my own kids and eventual grandkids, but I did still have an account with Kiki Pants, so I quick snuck in a little wholesale order there, and that's why my prices are going to be higher too, because I'm not looking to clear this out. I'm looking to have it as an offering for somebody that maybe wants it when they're purchasing on whatnot. So I may or may not sell any of it today because my prices are going to be higher. But I also feel like we need to educate our buyers, and we all need to try and push those prices up a little bit closer to half off retail or retail. That would be nice. All right, guys. Yes, Kiki Pants is great. It's the original bamboo brand. Right. It would be. It would be better. So today's show, if nothing else, come in and throw some hearts on the screen for me, because I am going to try to educate our buyers and help them realize that retail prices are important still, even for resellers. Just because we got it for 5 doesn't mean we need to sell it for 7. Um, it means that it has a greater value than just the thrifted price, because of all the time, energy, and gas and knowledge that went into sourcing and finding something that is new with tags. Kiki Pants. Making 50 cents here and there is rough. It definitely is. I met with somebody that was interested in, like, on the back end of boutiques, so dealing with wholesale and showrooms and online selling and stuff. And they're like, so how much money do you make if you don't mind selling, sharing? And I was like, I don't make any money. I'm losing money if you look at what I paid per garment and what I'm selling it. However, I have a cash flow that I didn't have. All of that inventory sitting in my warehouse doesn't make me any money. And so at least I'm recouping some of my costs, and I've already closed up the business. So at this point, it is extra money. Um, but I've had to shift my mentality away from making a profit based on wholesale prices, which is what I did when I had the business, to now at least making some pennies on the dollar for inventory I've already invested in, and not sold. No, Bella girl, I think prices have dropped. I do too. Yeah. I had my first 2 $0 shows. So I did the same as you did. You took some time off because, you were focused on your other job. And also, I remember you said you hurt your back. I took time off because I just got a little sour about some things that were happening on the platform. And then I also had July is a big month for me. Our anniversary is that month, and my birthday, and the kids are all home. So July was my worst selling month so far, mostly because I took time off. But now that I've jumped back into it in August, I got I got very surprised that my buyers didn't just pop in and buy, for multiple reasons. One, it's kind of that weird change in season where people aren't ready to buy fall, and they're certainly not buying summer. Two, a lot of our buyers are moms that are still stuck at home and going crazy with their kiddos. So once back to school actually starts, they might have more free time. And then three, yeah, I think it's still just kind of a clearance platform. I haven't seen anybody that's been able to really raise their prices other in baby and kids, other than some of the bamboo sellers. And they're just kind of catching on like a collecting trading trend. It's not about baby clothes in general. It's about a very specific print and brand, the little CP's brand, etc. So it's not just you. I've noticed it as well. And that's part of why I'm doing, that's why I'm doing these shows, the Monday talk shows, the Tuesday teaches, and why I'm selling snacks on Saturday and Sunday, because I want to keep the momentum going. And I do still believe in the value of this platform and the potential. But it's going to be a slow grind. It's not fast money. It's not fast money. I missed that last comment. Let me scroll on the desktop to see. Oh yeah. So Sweet Red Panda, part of what one of the things that I did, here's a tip for resellers. Most of you have PayPal accounts. I don't know Stripe. I don't have experience with Stripe. If you have a PayPal account, you can get a PayPal debit card. So I stopped using my bank account to fund my whatnot purchases. A, because it was too easy for me to over purchase and it was a lot of money coming out of my bank account. And two, because I hated the notifications because I have notifications set up for my ATM card for my bank account. And my husband and I mean, he doesn't care, but getting all these notifications, you made a purchase on whatnot, like within a show, if I bought 10 things, then there would be 10 notifications of things that I bought. So I switched it from my debit card with my bank account to a debit card out of my PayPal account. So now I only spend on whatnot what I make on whatnot. So I haven't been spending very much because I haven't been making as much as when I first started. So I take my funds from whatnot, transfer them to my PayPal account, use that PayPal account to also transfer funds to my bank account, my business bank account where I pay my business bills. But I leave some of those funds sitting in my PayPal account, and that's what I use to then buy things on Whatnot. Now, I went one step further and I got the PayPal debit card, and I can use that PayPal debit card at Goodwill and at Sally J Thrifts or wherever to use my Whatnot funds to source and buy more. Also, it lets me give tips because if you just use PayPal as it is, you can't tip on the Whatnot app. And I do like giving tips as well as receiving. And if you type in the PayPal debit credit card, it's not credit, it's a debit card. There's also the PayPal credit card, that's separate. But a debit card should be easy enough to get because it's just taking the money that you have in your PayPal account. But it gives you that little, the set of numbers that you need to be able to tip. So that's the way that I have switched to buying on the platform. And it's really limited what I buy because I don't have as much in my PayPal fund. So it forces me to budget my buying on Whatnot. So, Jess, I appreciate that comment about audiobooks, and you are reading my mind. So, I listened back to my show yesterday because a few people commented that, and I was like, that was crazy for me. When the speed reading show, it was silly, goofy, and my heart was racing. And then when I re-listened to it, I was like, "That's my normal voice. I don't think it was soothing. Like I can do a more soothing voice, but this is my teacher voice that I use, where I'm projecting." And um and somebody else had commented that and I was like, Tara, you live in LA. I wonder if, there's like voiceover opportunities for you or audiobooks. And so yes, I am going to look into it. I've gotten more than one compliment. Don't I don't not like the sound of my voice. But I don't like the sound of my voice. I'm whatever. It is my voice. But I've gotten enough compliments now that I'm like, okay, maybe I need to look into this. Well, at least for now, I'm enjoying talking on Whatnot, and I appreciate that other people don't mind listening in. But I appreciate that compliment. I do enjoy reading. So you know what I'm going to do? So I created an ASMR show. I am going to try and maybe on Whatnot because I'm all in on this app right now. I am going to try and maybe do some ASMR for people that have a hard time falling asleep, that do like just kind of the routine of something. I've enjoyed those videos sometimes when I'm trying to fall asleep. And then actually, what I really think I'm going to do is read kids' books and create a story hour. I'm not a big fan of putting a device in front of kids, but I do it. My son actually came here a few minutes ago. It's supposed to be that he has to wait till 11:30 in order to have device time, but he took advantage of the fact that he knew I was live and I can't distract him with something else more purposeful. So he's like, "Can I have my iPad?" And I was like, "Here you go, kid." he got an hour early, and he's spent way too much time this summer on his device. But long story short, I might start doing a story hour where I just read books to kids and then have the bin full of items that of books that people can buy if they want to, but it's about my voice. And then if those are on YouTube, I think we could read books on YouTube. Again, copyright issues and stuff like that, I don't know. But then maybe people would play that, or kids would rewatch it, or even if just my son. He was so excited, you guys. He's like, Mom, you're on YouTube? Like, I am, buddy. I have 9 subscribers. And he's like, Can I have my iPad? I was like, No, not until 11:30. He's like, But I want to subscribe to you, Mom. He was my 10th subscriber. He was so excited about subscribing to his mom's YouTube page. So it's a whole different generation, isn't it? I know. He's a sweetheart. He's a knucklehead and a sweetheart rolled into one. All right, guys, I do need to try and get ready for my my Kiki Pants show. Are there any last minute questions, compliments, or complaints? Otherwise, there's 11 of us. Let me see who we can raid. Raiding at the end of your show is a good way to gain new followers, because usually when you go into that show, somebody will say, Oh, thank you, Tara, for the raid. And if they have 10 people in their show, then maybe those 10 people will start following you. So anytime you can finish with a raid, you should. For example, Reseller Mama is doing a question and answer. And so thank you everybody for being here. I'm going to go ahead and have us pop over. I want to listen in and see what the curated casa is doing. She's doing a question and answer. So off we go. You can do it on the desktop by typing \raid spacebar at the, let's see, does she have a dot? Nope. No, I think on Instagram she has a dot. Curated Casa pops up. All right, we're going to head over there. And you can't do it all on the desktop. You have to do it here.